on this, let's bring in from Ramallah, Nour Odeh. She's a political analyst and a journalist. Nour, great to have you here with us on TRT World. So tell me, what do you think the future holds for a ceasefire in Gaza, given the latest developments in the region?
I think everybody except Netanyahu is interested in a ceasefire. The Biden administration needs the situation in the region to calm down. They need to be able to appease the Democratic base without taking, big leaps in terms of policy that the Democratic base wants. They want them to be more anti-war, anti-genocide, more pro-peace. The base of the Democratic Party wants an arms embargo on Israel, or at least conditioning that sale of arms to stopping the war. The Palestinians naturally want the genocide to end, and everybody else in the region does as well. But Netanyahu seems to be more interested in buying time, and he's using the talks, whether they're happening in Doha or in Cairo, to buy himself more time and to gain more points in opinion polls, but keep that war going until the elections happen in the United States so that he can roll the dice and possibly have a more favorable president in the White House, if that's even possible.
Nour, historically speaking, the U.S. has had a lot of influence over Tel Aviv, but given the latest developments and the fact that Netanyahu can conveniently sidetrack whatever the U.S. president says, is that perhaps an indication that the U.S. is finally losing its influence over Israel now?
I think it's more, it more speaks to what kind of president right now the U.S. has. You have an ideologically Zionist president in the White House who is unwilling and incapable of having a public dispute with Israel, even if it's led by the most right-wing fascist coalition in the country's history, even if Netanyahu continues to undermine U.S. standing repeatedly. And so Netanyahu knows that very well, and he's taking full advantage. If you notice, the Democratic Party and even the Democratic Party's nominee is trying to draw a little bit of a distance between where Biden stands and where they stand, because they understand that this ideological position of Joe Biden has cost a lot, not just in terms of popularity, but in terms of standing internationally. This is the most powerful country in the world, or so it says. It has certainly the most powerful army in the world, and it has a lot of interest in the region. It has undermined those by continuing to fund, to arm, and to protect the continued genocide in Palestine, providing Israel with impunity, providing it with protection, and making sure that this doesn't end until Netanyahu is satisfied. And we know from the past 11 months that he wants to continue the war. He wants to use that war in the occupied West Bank to take as much land as he possibly can and to ethnically cleanse the occupied West Bank as much as he can so that his government's program is implemented in the best way possible. So really, it's about Biden and not so much the U.S., because they do have all the levers that any country would need to stop the war immediately.
Nour Odeh, thanks very much for talking to us here on TRT World. I really appreciate your taking out the time.